And one of independent India's biggest sports icon, Milkha Singh, is no more. He has passed away at the age of 91 after his long battle with COVID. In fact, he had recovered from COVID and tested negative recently as well. But due to post-COVID complications, he has now passed away. We have tributes pouring in from across the country, from sports icons as well as the Prime Minister himself, sending out a message. And he, in fact, has been an icon and an inspiration for the entire country and all the aspiring sports persons and personalities across India. In fact, here's a tribute to the legend who introduced India to track and field. In fact, we do know that the Prime Minister has also and condolences that have been pouring in from across the nation as India pays tributes to the sprint icon Milkha Singh. The Prime Minister has also remembered Milkha Singh, stating that the nation has lost a colossal sports person. He has, in fact, led India to international glory for several years, and we have seen a film being made on his life as well, where we got a glimpse of what kind of a life he really led. And if we take a look at his entire sporting career as well, we have seen how he has brought international glory to the country as well. Let me go across to my colleague Amandeep, who is now joining us on the broadcast. Certainly not a good news coming in this morning, Amandeep, of the legendary Milkha Singh.
Exactly, it's a very sad of Indian athletics and even the sports personality. But last night when we got the information that suddenly he has dipped his oxygen level, and all of a sudden when PGI declared that he is no more, that was a very touching point at that point of time. And even the family went deep shock, into the deep shock. And in fact, the PGI has also stated that from past few days he was continuously under the observation and in fact in a critical situation. But all of a sudden he has also improved his health, just because on 13th of June he was tested negative, and that was the day when he started recovering his health. And even last night, just 2 days before, his oxygen level started dipping all of a sudden. That was the worrisome point for the doctors, PGIs, and in fact the family also. And all of a sudden last night he just passed away, and that was very unfortunate. And in fact, just few days before, the wife of Milkha Singh, Nirmal Milkha Singh, has also passed away due to the COVID. And when we talked with the doctors regarding his health issue and what was the reason behind his death, so they revealed that there are some post-COVID complications due to which Milkha Singh was not able to recover. But once he just battled with the COVID-19 and recovered himself and tested negative, but post-COVID complications are the reason that he has just died. The death of the reason is the post-COVID complications. And in fact, now the body was handed over to the family in the wee hours today itself, and cremation is expected to be at 5 o'clock in the evening today itself in Chandigarh. Yes.
In fact, Amandeep, we have seen as to how tributes have been pouring in from across the country. The Prime Minister himself coming out and remembering the flying Milkha as well. And if we talk about his life, he has led a very extraordinary life, inspiring people with his story. We have seen a film that has been made on his life to just get us a glimpse of how exactly he led his legendary life as well. He was, in fact, reading out some of his achievements. He has been the first Indian to win an individual gold at the CWG, and he was also awarded a Padma Shri in 1959, won 77 out of 80 international races. Goes to say what kind of a personality he was.
Well, Richa, he was a very inspirational personality. In fact, at the age of 19 or late 80s, he still visits the stadiums, athletic grounds, and guide the younger athletes, budding sports persons, and motivate them. At this age, then the people are resting in their homes, and Milkha Singh was the only person who remained active in the grounds. And in fact, we met him in the last pandemic as well. He was very much active. He said, I miss my ground, I miss my athletic ground, I miss my stadium, I miss my track, just because I was not able to work out. At the age of 90, a person is still talking about the workout. And he said, I just asked him that, sir, what is the alternate if you are missing your athletic track? So what is the alternate you avail due to this pandemic? Just because it is a lockdown, you cannot be able to come out from your house. He says, I have a huge house, so and my entire family work out together in the morning as well as in the evening. And in fact, he was so much a motivational inspiration whenever any sports event or sports organizer invite him to motivate the sports persons. He always visit beyond any lines, and he always try to motivate the people to try to motivate the sports persons to come forward and fight and just perform for your country the way he did. And even it was the time when he tested positive along with his family. The entire sports personalities has visited and even shows their concern, make their calls. But it was a time that the Milkha Singh, whenever he visits, whenever he speaks with the volume, and people follow the Milkha Singh's word very blindly just because he's the one who has made the nation proud at one point in time, and even repeatedly pushing the people to be himself and to cross his achievements so that the nation again find another Milkha, something good and better than the Milkha. This is what he used to say while delivering the lectures, while guiding the budding sports persons, while addressing the people. So he was a very inspirational personality, and in fact the entire family was very inspirational just because Nirmal Milkha Singh was herself an Indian volleyball player, and both are very remain active in the society for the social work as well, for their own personal lives as well. And even his son Jeev Milkha Singh, a golfer, he was very active. But now the entire family has went into the deep shock. What exactly happened? And I must tell you the reason how the Milkha and his wife Nirmal Milkha Singh tested positive. It was a day when we got the news that Milkha tested positive, and in fact that was a very shocking news just because Milkha and his family locked themselves in the house with so many precautions. Nobody is allowed to come inside. A cook of Milkha went through the fever, and even when I spoke to Nirmal Milkha Singh at that day, so she told me that, Aman, it's all about that we got to know that cook got fever and we just get him tested. When we get him tested, he tested positive, and that was very worrisome point for the entire family. 10 members of the family got tested at that day. Only the Milkha Singh was the one who tested positive. Rest of the family members turned negative. But later on, Nirmal Milkha Singh also tested positive, and even she was like, we will recover. If we are together, we will definitely recover. Milkha first shifted to Fortis Hospital. He recovered, and in fact, after that, he shifted to PGI. Again, he tested negative. He fight a lot against this COVID-19. But at the end of the day, this news has come out in the midnight. It was actually very shocking and very depressing.
In fact, we have the Prime Minister's message on our screens right now, Mandeep, as well, who has stated that we have certainly lost a colossal sports person, and budding athletes will certainly derive inspiration from him. And that was the aim post his retirement as well, to work with budding athletes to help them grow. And he was, we remember that he had his entire family had joined us in the last lockdown on our channel as well. And they were speaking so enthusiastically about the Olympics, the upcoming Olympics, and how more and more sports persons should be staying inspired despite the pandemic situation.
Well, exactly, Richa. He always be inspirational for the people who are performing and who wanted to perform. And in fact, when we speak to Milkha Singh last year, he was very active, and even he says once this lockdown will be over, he again resume his activities. Just because Milkha was very active personality of Chandigarh, he organized so many marathons, he participated in the marathons just to motivate the people, just to motivate the sports persons. Even the Olympians, Olympic participations who have basically from Chandigarh or somewhere down the line from Punjab or Haryana, they always visit on and off to Milkha Singh to take the guidance how to move on. Maybe Milkha was not able to guide according to their game or event, but Milkha is guiding them how to go further, how to break the barricades, how to break the self-styled restrictions, and to perform beyond the expectations. This is the kind of Milkha Singh that people used to visit him just because his own story is so much inspirational. He was nothing, and one day he is everything. just because the nation knows him. And even the movie that has based on his biography also, that was a very inspirational, and that was very much turning point when the Milkha's life turned public, and each single person on the road knows about the Milkha Singh from where he has started. He has started from the scratch and belongs to the Pakistan, established himself in the India after the partition. He is not concerned about anything, not remain into any controversy despite going through all this tough times. But Milkha, at the end of the day, is an inspirational personality. He's still alive in the heart of the people. He's still alive in our hearts.